based off of just the one season, it might just go top of my MCU shows.
Yeah. Woke up this morning, been in that shine, whole team got the glow, you can see it in the stride, got me feeling brand new, feeling brand new, got me feeling brand new, yeah.
What up, YouTube? It's your boy JusRzd, and today we are tapping in with the finale of Daredevil Born Again. I'm dumb hype. This show up until this point, man, has been incredible. It's been nostalgic. It's been a new take while being nostalgic. It's been a good time. It's been a good time. If you haven't watched Daredevil Born Again, definitely tap in, tune in, and add it to your watch list. If you're watching something else, I get it. Some people like to finish what they watching first before they pick up something else. I get it. I get it. Also, since you're here, subscribe to the channel. Stop playing. Like the video too. Like the video, comment, engage, do all those things. Share it with your peoples. But this is not. We do recap and review on Ray's reviews, but this isn't an necessarily emergency awesome-esque or new Rockstars-esque breakdown of the episode. It genuinely, I just like to talk about it and share how I feel about what transpired with whatever show that I'm reviewing. So it's just a regular recap and review. It might have some comedic elements to it, but you never know. It depends on what happened. But we gonna laugh. We for sure gonna laugh. But this particular episode, man, whew, this episode, it picks up just it picks up with us seeing what just transpired from Bullseye's perspective at the end of episode 8, and then it takes us back in time to view what transpired with Bullseye in the original Daredevil show and how he pretty much got out of where he was at in the first place. Looks like he was in either some type of, it looks like he was in a mental facility, because it didn't look like they were in a prison system. It looks like he was in like some sort of mental facility. He seemed broken. He seemed defeated. We have Vanessa meeting with him and pretty much using a stipulation that got Kingpin out of jail to kind of get him released from the mental facility. All he had to do was sign the contract and it would have got him out. So it shows her getting him out. He gets out immediately. You could tell there's a big issue between him and like obsessing over Kingpin. And so as soon as he gets out, he makes a beeline. Of course, everything that happened in episode 8 when he broke out of prison. And he tries to take out Kingpin, ends up hitting Matt because Matt jumps in the way. So then we pick back up in present day and we see Kingpin and Vanessa having a conversation. She looks like she's about to confess everything that transpired, and Kingpin said he already knew. He said he knew about all the different money that she was funneling through Red Hook, and even said that was part of the reason why he was focusing on Red Hook in the first place as mayor. Like, he's always had their best interests in the city's best interests at heart, allegedly, according to him. Now, we all know, if you know Kingpin, he is the kingpin of crime for a reason. So he didn't have the city's best interests at heart. He had his own pocket's interests at heart. And so we see them pretty much enacting their pretty much giving liberty and freedom to the anti-vigilante task force to pretty much police how they see fit, using lethal force how they see fit. And even the police commissioner is like, yo, you can't do this, because this is you start encouraging lethal force, and it's gonna be hell on the streets. And Kingpin is like, we're not encouraging. It's like we're not encouraging it, we're authorizing it. Like he was just going off of the deep end. Of course, kind of splitting the room. You had some people that was with him. You had other people that was just like, buddy crazy. Buddy is crazy. Like, I don't know what you want. And we kind of just see just the different, once again, juxtaposition between Daredevil and Kingpin. We see Daredevil awake in the hospital bed, kind of out of it. He calls for Karen when his girlfriend's right there, Heather. Low-key, she kind of getting on my nerves. I'm not gonna hold you, but especially in these last few episodes. Ever since the music tag, she's been pissing me off. But first, you saved yourself from Muse, which was completely inaccurate, but it's neither here nor there. Anyway, he calls out for Karen. That was a little weird. I was like, it's the meds. Even the lawyer was like, even his partner at the law firm was just like, it's probably the meds. And we pretty much see him kind of discussing, asking Heather if she's okay, of course. And we see him kind of discussing everything that he's uncovered with his partner in the law firm. And the whole time he's discussing it, he's like, yo, it's the Fisks. They were behind Foggy getting killed. It was actually a hit on Foggy. He was celebrating at the bar. He always gets this liquor to celebrate. She was like, yeah, I remember him opening it. And she was just like, but I don't know what he was celebrating for. And so he started to break it down, started explaining it. And in the background, we hear Heather kind of taking up for the Fist. Like, you do realize he was the one who was getting shot at. Both of them, Matt and it was funny because Matt technically blind, but he can see still. So both Matt and his partner law firm looked at her like, Shorty, shut up. Like, Trick, what? Trick, please. And continued on their conversation like nothing happened. And we see him pretty much divulging all that information to the partner, and him saying like he needs to get out of the hospital. She's like, yo, you need to chill. You lost a lot of blood. You got shot. You gotta relax. And we see back to Kingpin, back to the whole situation. We see Sheila trying to always be Kingpin's conscience and be like, yo, you gotta chill. You can't do this like this. You can't do this like this. And he was just like, trust me, your fears are warranted, your concerns are warranted. And kind of pulls it to the side and is like, look, I trust you a little bit low key. I trust you enough to gather the people that are split in this room, because I know my decisions moving forward are kind of going to continue to split the room 50-50. You're going to have some people that's going to be with it, you're going to have some people that's not. So what I need you to do is find out the people that ain't with it, bring them into my office so we can have a conversation. And we gonna make it do what it do. And it was just funny just seeing the terror on her face after having that conversation. And we see as soon as she leaves there, she ends up talking to the police commissioner, and he's just like, yo, he can't get away with this. Like, I'm gonna go above his head. I'm gonna go to the state Supreme Court, whatever I gotta do. And she's just like, all right, well, I can't go with you, but I'm gonna try to hold you down on this front. And he was just like, all right, cool, bet. And comes kind of back in the end to bite him in the butt. Later on in the episode, we see she actually turns in the audio from that conversation to Kingpin. He ends up finding out that it was the police commissioner that is the main leader in the office that's against him, and pretty much sets him up, gets rid of his driver, has one of his men drive him to an undisclosed location where he sees Kingpin in front of several constituents and police officers that look up to him and the police commissioner, and proceeds to unalive the police commissioner right before our very eyes and crushes his head with his bare hands. And it was a lot of gruesome action in this episode. They ain't pull no punches in this episode. We all know Kingpin has been getting larger throughout the entire series, so in the comics, Kingpin is strong as crap. So this isn't unbelievable. It's not like he immediately crushed him. It took him a little bit. But the fact that he was able to do that was just like, woo, we ain't messing with you, Kingpin. You got it. You got it, big dog. And it's funny, after he ended up talking to Sheila earlier in the episode, we actually see him pull Buck to the side and was like, yo, what's the condition of Matt Murdock? He was just like, oh, well, he's recovering in this hospital. And he was just like, well, trying to get rid of somebody who just saved your life might be bad optics. And he was just like, or it could be good optics. Since he's in the hospital, if he never makes it out of the hospital, now he's unalived at the hands of a mass vigilante. And now a hero can be used for our benefit. And so he sends Buck to pretty much get rid of Matt at the hospital. Matt hears him coming up, ends up being able to sneak up out of there. He goes back to his apartment. The anti-vigilante task force ends up rushing his apartment, And before they rush his apartment, when he steps in his apartment, he sees that Punisher is waiting in the darkness for him, and he's kind of joking each other at the time, kind of going back and forth. They realize that the people pull up. Matt goes to get the suit and dresses up as Daredevil, drops in through the through the moonroof, and him and Punisher just start going at it with the anti-vigilante task force. Of course, Punisher using lethal force, Daredevil trying to get him to chill by also fighting the anti-vigilante task force, and they end up taking out everybody and end up making an escape before the anti-vigilante task force ends up throwing a grenade in Matt's apartment and end up blowing it up. And just kind of they end up on the street just in the nick of time, and they're walking away, which was hilarious to me. And a car pulls up behind them, and in the car steps out Karen Page. And Karen Page has returned to give aid to Daredevil. She's actually the one who contacted Frank Castle to let him know to look out for Matt once they found out that Bullseye had escaped. And she took a flight as soon as she finished talking to Frank. And so Frank, of course, looked out for him, saved him. They retreat to Punisher's hideout and pretty much mend everybody up and tend to everybody's wounds and everything like that. And then we see Punisher still has one of the radios from the anti-vigilante task force, and he hears information after Matt and Karen leave to go find some legal information to figure out why Foggy was assassinated. So they go to storage to check that out, and Punisher gets some information on the anti-vigilante task force radio that they're going to be pretty much stationed up in Red Hook because they can't find Matt and Daredevil. And so Punisher takes it upon himself to go out to Red Hook and start taking people out. And unfortunately, he puts up a good effort and a good fight, but he gets overwhelmed by the force. And they end up capturing him and pretty much offering him an opportunity to lead them into battle, because so many on the anti-vigilante task force look up to Frank Castle. And Frank Castle calls them a bunch of idiots, calls them stupid, tells them they don't know his pain and that he'll never join them. They knock him out. And as we see at the end of the episode, he's actually now been captured along with all of the other people that didn't believe in Kingpin, that didn't trust Kingpin. And we even see Swordsman is locked up with him as well, knowing that he's the swordsman and the vigilante, but also a person who didn't follow up on his deal with Kingpin, I guess, to pay him the money. And so Kingpin is really putting just a hard iron fist. He is legitimately ruling New York at this particular point with an iron fist. He even shut down the power for the night. So now Daredevil and Punisher are operating in a blacked out New York, and they're trying to figure everything out. They end up finding the information that they need about how Red Hook is a free state, pretty much. So anything that happens in Red Hook isn't technically in anybody's legal jurisdiction. You can get away with money laundering, crime, all that. And if that would have came out in legal proceedings, it could have messed up the operation that Vanessa and Kingpin have going on in Red Hook. And Kingpin and Vanessa both know that, and that is why Vanessa had Foggy taken out. And so we get that reveal. We see later on in the episode, towards the end, we see Matt actually gets that information to his partner at the legal firm. And I really wish he could reveal his secret to her, but that's neither here nor there. Matt is about to make a play to go into Red Hook with Karen, well, by himself, not with Karen, but he's with Karen at the time. And she's like, Matt, don't do that. You're going to end up dead. It's too many people. You're by yourself. You don't have help. And he's like, you're right. We low-key kind of need an army to combat this. And they pretty much go to Josie's bar, as we see later on in the episode. And we see we see him and Karen having a conversation, and we see him making a play and a ploy to just different people that are willing to stand up against Kingpin. And it was a dope shot. He's giving this monologue of a speech as they show different takes and shots of different things happening around New York. We see the BB report, different people, different shots of New York where nobody's standing around the interview. We see Fisk Also doing what he does, and we just see this beautiful monologue that they gave Daredevil at the end, just speaking over these different clips and this different B-roll footage. And we see him greet everybody in Josie's bar, dressed up as Daredevil. We see Cherry's there. We see the detective that was there for the bank robbery. We see a few other good cops in there as well. Of course, we see Josie. It would have been super fire. I'll save it. Hold on. Let me get to the end. But I'll save you what I would have wished would have happened, which made it a little bit better for me. But we get to Kingpin pretty much addressing the city, talking about how there was an attempt on his life, and people know it. And as a result of that, there was also an attempt on the city as well with the power outage, even though he caused the power outage. We see all of these lies that he's telling the city, and pretty much saying that his Safe Streets initiative is pretty much initiating a curfew for everybody. After 8 p.m. nobody should be outside, and they're pretty much going to town on any vigilantes and all crime taking place in the city. And of course, that's just an excuse for him to funnel all the crime and lawlessness that he wants to in and out of Red Hood, and to rule this city with an iron fist. So we see his declaration towards the end of the episode. We see the different people that have been affected by the things that happened at the end of the season. We see Hector Ayala's niece. We see a bunch of other random people that have been affected by what has transpired this entire season. And it was just interesting, man, just to see the different shots and to hear the speech from Matt Murdock as Daredevil, and just to see everything come together. It was low-key kind of heartwarming. I ain't gonna hold you. It was like a true call to action. And then we get to the end credits, where we see pretty much Kingpin walk through and see everybody caged up, chained up. He has Frank caged up and chained up, and pretty much making that declaration to the city about how his Safe Streets initiative is going to clean up the streets. And then that's pretty much how the episode ends. However, we also see the end credit scene, which shows Punisher having a conversation with one of the guards who looks super nervous. And in the end, he goes to shake his hand, and the dude obliges for whatever reason, like an idiot, to shake Punisher's hand. Punisher pulls him into the cage, breaks his arm, and we're assumed that he breaks out in that moment. And of course, I'm sure his special presentation that takes place next year is going to pick up right where this Daredevil Born Again season 1 post-credit scene takes place. It's gonna probably pick up right from there. And so that was pretty much the finale of this particular season. I'm not gonna hold you, this show was phenomenal. I'll give the finale a 10 out of 10. So many different moving parts that transpired in this episode, and it was paced really well, because it was just like a lot happening, but it wasn't like drawn out to where it's just like, okay, this is happening, this is boring. Like it was like really tightly paced, of just set piece after set piece after set piece after set piece, just so many moving pieces and so many moving people just in it. It was just a lot going on. We get to see pretty much Mayor Kingpin be fully realized, and Daredevil, even though he's on the run now, be fully realized as well. And he said he needs an army. The only thing, this is a 10 out of 10 for me. Like I said, I give it a 10 out of 10. The only thing that would have made it better was if, when he stepped into Josie's bar, giving the speech to everybody that was there, if one or two of the defenders would have popped up, I would have lost my mind. Like I would have lost my mind. Like if Jessica Jones or Luke Cage would have popped up at the end in Josie's bar when he was giving that speech about how he needed an army, I would have been like, yo, absolute cinema. But instead, we got what we got, which was still great, by the way. It still got a 10 out of 10 for me. Overall, this particular series, I would definitely, man, if I had to grade it overall, I would definitely give it, I would give it a 9 out of 10 overall for a series, and it probably based off of just the one season, it might just go top of my MCU shows. Right now, I think I got Loki at the top. I don't know. It might have eclipsed Loki, even though Loki was phenomenal. Loki was dope. We got to see how season 2 pan out. Then I can officially either crown it as number 1. But right now, it's like 1A, 1B. You got Loki and Daredevil. But I'm gonna definitely have to go through my rankings and see what these MCU shows hitting for. If we're talking live action, animated, I don't think anybody's touching X-Men 97. That was just phenomenal. That's number 1, period. If we're going animated and live action, X-Men 97 is above everything. But if we're going just live action, I don't know. Loki and Daredevil, I don't know. They neck and neck. They neck and neck right now. But we'll see what pans out after season 2. But I'm super excited about this show, and I believe they're currently shooting season 2 right now. So I'm excited to see. Their plan is to kind of drop a new season every year for Daredevil. I feel like that's a dope idea if they can do it cohesively and continue to tell good stories. Even with them revamping the entire story of season 1, this was still phenomenally done, and I still give it, like I said, a 9 out of 10. But yeah. And the only reason why it gets a 9 out of 10 and not a 10 out of 10 is because they did have to revamp so much, and sometimes you could tell, sometimes you couldn't. But overall, it was done very well. So let me know in the comments below how y'all feel about it. Have you watched it? Do you agree with me, or do you feel like I'm tripping that this is one of the top MCU Marvel Disney Plus shows? Or do you feel like, it was mid? I really thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm not even gonna hold you. So we can definitely have some discourse and about it in the comments. Just don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so that way you can be notified anytime we drop a new video on the channel, which is every day. So stay tapped in, stay tuned in, stay locked in, and never forget, it's free show to the show free. Let's get it.